Hey you guys, so I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I noticed in my comment section regarding my community post. So I was talking about this one comment that I saw. I think this was yesterday, right? I'm here to tell you that in fact 95 to 98% of women above 40 are widely considered unattractive by the male population. This model here is the exception, and this is regarding Paulina Porskova. Now, when I think about this kind of statement, if you read something like 95 to 98% of women above 40 are considered widely unattractive, that almost sounds like basically every woman over 40 becomes ugly because she's definitely past the wall. And I can't help but think to myself when I read comments like this, like I pick up there's a disdain for older women. Like, gosh, wait, hold on, let me pull this up. Like, gosh, how can women become ugly? Why aren't they hot and sexy when they're 40 years old? And this kind of stuff, it's like, at the end of the day, I feel that certain individuals, they think that they're just like a badass because they have these kind of thoughts, or hey, you know what? If they don't if they don't find a woman attractive, then they're just gonna say hell with it. Like, I don't want to be with any woman who is a certain age because she's gonna be ugly. Now, here's the thing, right? And I've said this before: everybody gets older, and time moves forward. Time does not move backwards. So, let's say if you are, like, give me a number, like 37 years old, and you're out there and you're like, man, I don't like 37-year-old women or 40-year-old women. They're so ugly. They're so unattractive. Man, I only want to be with 25-year-old women, right? Like this person over here, I would say above 25. And before you say it, I don't have a girlfriend, and that's all right. I don't know if this person's just trolling. I don't know if this person's just an idiot. But when it comes down to things like this, right? A lot of people in the world, they're older than 25 years old. Nobody stays at 25 years old or younger than 25. Like, nobody, unless they pass away early on. And seeing those kind of comments, right? Like, my gut reaction is to say, like, oh my God, this is such stupid thinking. But I realize that I probably should stay quiet about this, because if people want to have this kind of thinking, where they're saying, hey, you know what? I don't like the idea of women becoming old, or I don't like the idea of older women who are over 25 because that's so repulsive and it's so ugly. Then, hey, they're going to be doing genetics a favor. Don't have any children, because your baby mama, if you have a baby mama, she's going to be one day older than 25 years old, older than 40. And if you are a male who you find youth to be attractive, can you be seen with a woman who has your child and she's over the age of 40? Oh my gosh. I know, women will get older. So, if you read this kind of stupid comments like this, I just hope that you just, like, when you see these kind of clowns, you just kind of like dismiss it. Because, again, I understand that sometimes males like to think they're all high value, but I maintain there are not too many high value males out there. There's a lot of low value males who think they're high value males. I've seen guys in my life where they kind of beat their chest and they're like, I'm alpha, but truly, they're not alpha. And I've said it before, right? You can tell who is an alpha male and you can tell who's not an alpha male. And I'm not just doing this whole thing where it's like, oh, a guy who is, let's say, 6 foot tall is an alpha male, but it's the way you carry yourself. It's the things that you say. And the people that I respect the most, they don't say this kind of what these kind of comments where it just like puts down a huge portion of the population because of this kind of stuff. You see, I feel that as time goes on, we're going to see more and more people who have this kind of thinking. And I think part of it comes from social media. I think the other part of it is just this sense of entitlement, where it's kind of telling you, hey, you know what? There are so many beautiful women out there. Like, don't settle with the older women, because older women are not sexy. Older women are just boring, or they're just, they're like a depreciating asset kind of thing. So, yeah, let's see over here. Oh, I'm not even reading the comments. No one does. Oh, are you doing up? It's like 5:30 a.m. over here. No, I'm over here in Hawaii. I have to go ahead and help out with my grandma's stuff right now. They're still trying to figure out what to do. There is a lot of decluttering and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, kind of thing. So yeah, 95% of women think that unemployed men are unattractive. It works both. It works both ways. I think I've known women who date guys who are unemployed, and it's just like you kind of think like, is this just a passing thing? People are unemployed for various periods of their life. And you don't have everybody become employed 100% all the time, right? People take breaks, kind of thing. It's perfectly normal. I know. It's like, what time is this? Like 12:38 a.m. over here, but all that kind of thing. So I think that when I think about like depopulation and when I think about the environment, all those people who say like, oh, save the environment, don't have kids and things like that. Just when you see comments like this, basically throwing shade at women, just think about it. Hey, that's natural selection working as kind of like kinking itself out. And I think we're going to have a number of this. People are talking about saving the resources, and if people don't have kids because women are just too unattractive, they turn 40 or 25. That's not a bad thing. That's really not, because I can't imagine, and this is just me, there's some really toxic males out there, and I hope and I pray that some of these toxic guys like never have kids, because if they perpetuate this kind of toxicity moving forward, then geez, the world's going to be a more uglier place. So I think that society has been damaged in a sense because of unrealistic beauty standards, unrealistic expectations from both males and females, right? And if you can't keep up with it, it just makes you feel like psychologically not so great as a result of that, right? If someone just kind of lives and breathes all this toxicity, then it's not a bad thing if they just never have kids or they never end up in a relationship. And this sounds very cold for me to say it, but when I think about the bigger picture here, it's just like, everybody kind of chooses what kind of thoughts they want to keep in their head, and I can't change anybody's thoughts, right? Everybody kind of has their own thoughts, and it's just I just don't like it when people kind of make these statements about ageism and like, okay, you're gonna most likely be unattractive at this age. I also was talking about this, is like, I hope that this individual, they never made any mention, like if they have a significant other, I hope that significant other doesn't know these thoughts, because can you imagine if you were in a relationship with this individual and then let's say you're 24 years old, okay? And then they say, oh yeah, I really feel like 95 to 98% of women over the age of 40, I don't find them to be attractive. It's just kind of like, you would think to yourself, man, geez, I'm 20. Oh, I don't know. What age should I say? Like 23 right now. Oh gosh, when I turn 40, oh gosh, he's going to dump my ass because he doesn't find 95 to 98% of women attractive, right? And I think that it's just kind of like something to keep in mind. Because it's like you don't want to have that kind of ageism thing floating around there. And I know people would say, oh, well, it's not everyone. You're right. You're right. But if someone already kind of has this like ageism stuck in their brain, it's really hard to get rid of it. And I think that some women, older women, they really let the number thing get under their skin. And part of me wonders if the reason why they let the age get under their skin is because they've heard certain things like this coming from people that they really care about. There's this one person, for instance, right? She was very, very beautiful. She's still alive, by the way. She's very beautiful, but her husband cheated on her with someone who was in their 20s, and it really had a profound effect on her psyche. And I knew her before the husband cheated on her, and she looked great. She was very well put together. She was charismatic. She was a wonderful hostess. And even then, her husband just decided to cheat on her with a 20-something-year-old, and I know she was really hurt by it. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, he went for a 20-something-year-old. Guess what? This guy is now in his 50s. He still likes 20 something year olds, but he looks kind of sleazy. He looks kind of gross. And although he has money, although he has position, um, it's just like, oh, it's just like you want to grab the Purell wipe, just, the Purell, the Clorox wipe, just thinking about this. Is like, oh my gosh. So he had a really great wife, but she couldn't compare to a 20 something year old. And I think looks are not the be all and end all kind of thing. I think that when it comes to with age, you also have wisdom, you also have maturity, and a lot of 20 something year olds, they just don't have the awareness or the wisdom as someone who is, let's say, in their 50s or 60s, right? I'm not saying every person who is 50 or 60 is smart, because there are people who are just man-childs and they're 50, 60 years old. But I like to think that overall, most people in their 50s or 60s kind of wisened up over the years. What grandma? I don't know what you're talking about. Grandma is code for Hawaiian man with the six pack and no gray hair. Huh? No, no, no. I mean, like, are you talking about my teeth? Like, no, I just, like, I was saying, even when I got my braces off at 17, I had uneven wear on my bottom front teeth. So it's always been irking me. And it's just like a small little thing. I don't think most people would notice it, but I notice it. And that's why I want to get it done. I plan on making that my 34th year of life present to myself. Just getting my teeth bonded. Dental bonding on the bottom teeth, so my bottom teeth are a little longer. Basically, it's just putting like like filling material on my bottom teeth. Maybe like two teeth or four teeth, and then it straightens out a bit. That's all. Why do I have the feeling that the declaration currently on the stream was made by a male who's considered unattractive by 98% of women, no matter the age? Ooh, Anya, you're not supposed to say that. Here's the thing, right? It's like sometimes I find that people, they have this kind of toxic way of thinking because they just feel that they want to one up another group. So, for instance, right? I would say to have this kind of thinking and say 95 to 98% of women over the age of 40 are unattractive, I would say that either this individual doesn't have that much experience with women, or they had some kind of negative experience with women and they feel, in my opinion, happiness to just throw shade at women. I don't think that's healthy at all. Like, imagine, right? You meet a person and you start hearing stuff like this. It's just like makes you wonder, because then you become, again, if you are not 40 years old, you would kind of look at that and you're like, ooh, man, geez, I don't expect myself to be part of the 3% or 5% kind of thing, right? The problem here is when you are 20 years old, 20-year-olds are hot. However, when you turn 60, 20-year-olds are still hot. I think we're talking about two different things over here. It's just, I think it's almost like if you are a woman and let's say you're 20 years old, when you turn 40 years old, the implication here based on this comment is you're going to be ugly as hell, most likely. So you better savor your look while you have it, because you're a person like Louise over here is going to dump someone's ass once they hit 40, because they're going to be like, oh, you're so unattractive now. You're so ugly. You're so ugly. You're too old for me. And not only that, right? I shared with you guys a comment earlier. What was that comment? I gotta change windows. Hold on. See this one? Jim Bob's comment, things like that. Yeah. See this guy Larry? Not that stupid of a declaration, except for his numbers. More like 80%. 80% of women over 40 are unattractive. That's way too high. And that's before you take into account people decided by things like makeup. I don't think makeup is that big of a deal. As long as you don't go super heavy on the makeup, makeup is not bad because it's like if a woman is wearing, let's say, mascara, like, yeah, her eyelashes aren't as long if she takes off the mascara, but she should be still recognizable with and without that mascara, right? It's not like you look at her and you're like, ooh, who's this? Now, there are someone who wear really heavy makeup, but still, you know. Some people don't mind the makeup look. Some people, they look more radiant with makeup on. Figuring out the amount of people legitimately physically attracted to and not just settling for emotional closure is fundamentally complicated task that humanity has barely scratched the surface of. If you want to go legitimately physically attracted to, then most likely it would be a woman who is what, under the age of 40 kind of thing. Oh, man. All I can say is whoever like supports these kind of comments, I just hope that if you enter a relationship, then your partner never hits age 40. Because, man, that just would be so incredibly hurtful to that person. And, you know, it's like, hey, happy birthday. You turned 40. You're old now. You're unattractive. So, not good stuff. Okay, so let me read this over here. Yeah, I do think younger women are attractive compared to older women, but it's like a different kind of attractive. With youthfulness, you have like the more radiant features. You know, they look more youthful, more innocent, more naive in a sense. And then as you look older, you look more. I like to think women should look more polished as they get older. You know, dress well. You don't have to look so, how would I say this? Like, you don't have to look like you're a schoolgirl when you're like 50 years old. You see where I'm getting at? That's why I think, right? It's very important to dress well for your age. Everyone would cheat if they could with someone half their age and not get caught. I don't think so. I don't agree everybody would cheat with someone half their age. I think age is not a big factor. You know, I think some people, they have, you know, they don't feel the need to cheat with someone just because they have a chance with a 20-year-old, you see? There's no way in hell that a woman I'm with when I'm 80, if she's the same age as me, is gonna be hot. She's gonna be ugly and wrinkled and up as I am. I don't know. There might be some attractive 80-year-old women. I mean, most women on 80 years old, you know, they're not gonna look like a nice and like a 23-year-old for sure. But keep in mind when a person is 80, like whether it be male or female, if they have a partner, then that partner is also going to look like to be their age. You know, it just doesn't work out when you got one person who's, let's say, 80 years old, and then they think to themselves, "Ooh, I only want to get with a 25-year-old. Like, my standard is 25." And my worry is, it's not really a worry. I think I would just kind of chuckle at this, but you're going to see more people as time goes on have this like standard where they say, I refuse to date someone who is of a certain age, or I refuse to be in a relationship with someone of a certain age because that's not hot. And I'm a high value man and I have standards kind of thing. And you'll find as time goes on, these guys will not have kids. You know, they will not have stable relationships because they're going to go from 20 something year old to another 20 something year old, and when they can't get 20 something year olds anymore, they're going to get really bitter at life, and they're going to say, you know, I'm trying to shoot my shot with a 25-year-old. However, now I'm 60 years old and 25-year-olds just aren't interested in me anymore. Oh my gosh, you know, these total, you know, these shallow, vapid, stupid hoes, they only like these 6 feet Chad guys, right? And that's when you get the bitterness kind of thing coming out. And it's just, yeah. But on the flip side, right, I do know a number of people who are in great relationships. They're not 6 feet tall, they don't have a six pack, the women aren't size 2, but they get along with each other very well. And there's this what you pick up is that people, they don't just look at superficial stuff. They don't look at just the age. They see the bigger picture. And I think sometimes when you deal with social media, when you deal with like Instagram standards, it's much harder for people to kind of say, oh, oh my goodness, there's actually different sides to a person besides just their age or their youth. See? No, 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 no. I don't want to see no. I mean, like, okay, you want to know who's really attractive and she's like 69? Wendy Ida. Wendyida. Wendy Ida is so good looking. She's 69 years old. She does not look like it. I don't know if it's because black don't crack, but she looks amazing for her age. Um, she just looks so radiant. You know, Zelda says, I gotta say, if I'm banging 25-year-olds from 30 to 60, I'll make peace the fact that my time has passed. To be honest with you, you're probably not going to be having the opportunity to bang a 25-year-old when you're 60 years old unless you pay that woman. Like I can't imagine, like take Leonardo DiCaprio, right? He's considered like the man because he doesn't date women older than 25, I believe. But outside of that, right? What stands out about Leonardo DiCaprio? It's not just that he's a male, okay? Leonardo DiCaprio is a famous actor who's worth millions upon millions of dollars. And sometimes I see people, they want to follow these footsteps of Leonardo DiCaprio and say, I want to be with models, I want to be with young, pretty things, but they don't have the financial backing to have a Leonardo DiCaprio pull. Say, Leonardo DiCaprio, if he wanted to talk to any model, I imagine most of them would be open to talking to him or hanging out with him or going on a yacht party, whatever, with him because they would say this guy is very famous and he's worth millions and millions of dollars. The average person, the average guy, who's a guy who's racking in like 40, 50K, he's not going to have those opportunities. No, I think Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, I think Leonardo DiCaprio. One of his main big points was Titanic. However, I do think that Leonardo DiCaprio is a great actor. Outside of that, I really like Catch Me If You Can. I really liked Great Gatsby. What else was he really good in? Great Gatsby, Wolf of Wall Street. I like that as well. I'm not gonna be doing. I've heard about tongue mewing, but I don't. I don't have any desire to do that. Yeah. Lois says, when I'm 60, all the women who will line up for my board repair videos will be knocking on my door. Um, I'm really happy that you mentioned that, Lois, because that means that Apple products will still be in high demand when you're 60 years old. So I really hope Apple stock is doing very well when you're 60 years old because I have a lot of money that I'll be making between now and 60 dividends. I never saw the Aviator. There's a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio movies that I haven't seen, but yeah, I really like Great Gatsby. So I will talk to you guys later. It's getting kind of late. I just wanted to do this stream. I didn't want to write a long community post, but seriously, you guys, think about what you say. Think about, you know, if you have these kind of rigid age standards, think about the consequences about it. Now, if you want to be one of those people where you just think, hey, you know what, I'm just going to kick all these women to the curb because they're so, they turn, let's say, 26 years old, or you just want to say, hey, you know what, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone because they're going to be 40 soon and 40 is so ugly, then you're really probably doing yourself a disservice. But hey, you know what, it'll be great for the environment. We'll have less consumerism if we have more people kicking the bucket eventually, right? And the bloodlines aren't replenished or they're not carried forward. And yeah, if anybody has this kind of idiotic thinking where women have a very finite expiration date in terms of their looks, then I don't really see it as that much of a shame if these people end up not having any kids at all. And that's just my little thought over here. Um, my friend John told me girls are like cars, you need to replace them before they break down. I would say John, if he's able to get game right now, he better live it up because it's not going to last forever. I think that if you say words like that, you're probably just stupid. You're probably loaded with a lot of money, or you're just cocky. And I don't think that women should be so easily replaced, if they have like some sort of mental breakdown, because what are we going to say, males don't have mental breakdowns as well? We're going to say males are just perfect and flawless? Like, that's not the case. Again, when people talk about high value males, it's like, I just don't think there's not too many of those kind of high value males out there. There are people who think that they're high value, but when you line up everything and you kind of see how they are, I don't think a good chunk of males are actually high value. You think about it, right? A lot of guys like to think about themselves as alpha, but they don't want to think of themselves as beta because beta is just so embarrassing. Kind of that stuff. So I don't follow that at all. Yeah, but yeah, it sounds kind of lowsy, right? People will probably read that and be like, oh, John's the man. John's so cool and he's so smart. Yeah, get rid of girls. Girls just break down. Girls are trouble. Girls are depreciating assets. And I don't believe in that at all. Both men and women have limits on their looks. There's nothing wrong with taking hormones in your later years. Are you talking about like human, what was it called, like human growth hormone and stuff like that? I don't know too much about that. I do know that some people they take, what's that, hormone replace? I think it was human growth hormone or something like that, trying to preserve their looks. But yeah, I don't know too much about that stuff. I think was Sylvester Stallone takes it, if I remember correctly, and he did it for the Rocky movies, and he swore by it. Yeah, but I could be wrong. Sylvester Stallone. Last time I saw him, and last time I saw like pictures of him, he actually looked pretty good. But then again, it could also be steroid use for him from Rocky or whatnot. If I don't know what if he's taking steroids right now, but he looked pretty freaking ripped. Yeah, John has a lot of game. I've always wondered. Sometimes you hear about women and they're just like these bad boys and things like that. I've always wondered, like, what's the appeal of that? Maybe it's just me. Like, I've just kind of thought to myself, like, maybe it's exciting. Maybe it's a whole thing. What's it called? Neil Strauss, the game, that stuff. You want to nag her. You want to make her feel like knock her down a few pegs kind of thing, take her off guard, kind of disarm her, and then maybe she'll be like, ooh, you know what? Oh, you have the audacity to tell me that stuff? Oh, I think you're so cool. It's just, look, it might work for a person in their 20s, but I think for a woman who is in their 30s or 40s, not so much. Maybe it's because it's like when I think about like pickup lines and things like that, or trying to be edgy or something like that, I don't think it works very well. Right now it is 12. Oh, it's like 1 o'clock right now. 1 p.m. 1 a. Oh my gosh, 1 a.m. I only had like a few hours of sleep yesterday. I didn't sleep very well at all. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff, just like day in and day out kind of stuff. So yeah, I gotta go to sleep. So I'll talk to you guys later. And Lois, you better go to sleep too, cause you shouldn't be up. It's like 6 a.m. right now, and Oreo's probably waiting for you to go to sleep too. You're throwing off that cat's sleep schedule. So I'll talk to you guys later. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And yeah, again, if you want to go down that journey and just say, oh, I never want to have kids because women are just too unattractive, then don't be surprised if you die alone. Okay, you guys. See ya.